quiet.
Wow.
Well, here we are, every 10 seconds, 96 salutes. We're going to work round the locations.
Smoke eyes. People around the world are watching this, you know.
I just want to cough them.
Well, here we are, mixing locations, you see, as we work round the country and indeed other parts of the world. A mixture, Bill, of the sort of historically important, I guess, or the symbolic, I would guess, and the kind of militarily relevant. I mean, I'm assuming that's why Portsmouth and Gibraltar are in there.
Portsmouth, the oldest naval base, and one of the principal ones at the moment. Edinburgh Castle, the most besieged castle in the kingdom.
Is that right? I should have known that.
Cardiff Castle, a classic Norman Motte and Bailey castle.
Right.
All very symbolic and important, rich in history. That's the Outer Bailey of Cardiff Castle. The ramparts there were used as air raid shelters for the citizens of Cardiff in the war.
Is that right?
Get 100 business
The
cards.
states are blindingly obvious.
Great
It's a serious business, you know, albeit that it isn't shelling an enemy. It's a significant business firing a gun of this.
Yes, and although they've known they would have to do it at some point, and they do it on other occasions, imagine what has been happening in the last 24 hours to get it to this sort of standard. Some of these are regulars. Gibraltar Regiment is a mixed regular and reserve regiment. Some are reservists, called out of their civilian lives very rapidly to do this. That's looking over the new town, we're 85 metres above it. An artillery company with its origins in the 16th century.
So you mentioned the Royal Gibraltar Regiment. Is that where do their origins stem from? The original notion of defending Gibraltar in the event of an attack?
Yes, that's right. So they were the local regiment. There was a British Army regular presence there as well until about 20 years ago. These are now the presence. And
So if you have your image on something, you just upload it to this thing, and you create it yourself.
Of course, there was a planned IRA attack infamously on Gibraltar in the 1980s.
You want your savage, basically just want your savage logo on one side.
Those whose memories stretch back far enough. So here we are. If you're tuning in for the first time, we are watching 96 salutes. We are working round, as Bill has said.
I don't want everybody knowing the business.
Military significance for various different reasons.
If you don't,
If they look at me like that.
Everyone, who do you think's going to see it?
We're now going to go
Will
to
whoever watches it? Oh,
What's
I
it?
assume this is.
turn it off now, would you? It's been spoiled now, hasn't it?
if they missed the,
Shit, no stress.
if they missed the 69 shots, I can just watch this.
So Bill, for those just tuning in, can you remind us why there are 96?
96 years of the Queen Elizabeth's reign.
Oh, 96, not
which
69.
is precise for this occasion, obviously.
Where's Mum scared of me doing YouTube videos? Flag it off me, please.
In the UK, I suppose that's logical when you think about the endless wars between England and Scotland, but here we are in Edinburgh looking at the new town, as you say.
And its age.
Yeah, and it's age. I was a student in Edinburgh, so I walk past it every day.
It's a better view as well, because then I can properly see it through your phone.
But it's it's been a palace. It's been a military base. It's the place where the crown jewels of Scotland are and were found by Sir Walter Scott. It's got all sorts of key history to it. It's still a military presence there. Obviously a major tourist attraction as well.
Have these locations changed at all since the days when you were planning, or have they been fixed for quite a while?
I think pretty well fixed. Certainly Edinburgh Castle and Hillsborough in Northern Ireland and Cardiff Castle certainly.
Yeah.
And who determines that? Is it done in consultation with the Queen, or?
Yes, I'm sure they're designated by her, or been approved by her. I'm not sure exactly who puts them forward, but I expect there is some attempt to have a spread, obviously, in the nations of the United Kingdom, but also.
Are you sure it's safe to be shooting these?
Like that, and Gibraltar, of course.
Yeah, I think we're just shooting in the air.
I don't know. Maybe they're firing also in Commonwealth states, so I'm not aware of the detail.
Interesting that the Channel Islands.
Sure.
Because they have a relationship with the sovereign.
They do. Don't ask me the details, but you're right. It's not quite straightforward. I think that's Fort Henside, which is the only castle in the country to have been bombed by the RAF, because of course it was occupied by the Nazi forces during the Second World War.
And I'm not sure. But I think the king is now recognising the Channel Islands because he's the chief of the Navy. But I could be wrong about that. That really is just a history. It's been a historical thing.
Getting into some interesting history. We're starting
What
to
is
talk
this?
about
Is where
Normandy.
is this where the X-Men mansion is, or what?
Yeah, so this is the official
What?
residence
And why does it look like the outside of the X-Men mansion?
Yeah, it does.
and of the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. It's where the Anglo-Irish Agreement was signed, which is obviously a crucial stage of the peace process. Not really a castle, more a Georgian house.
Destroyed at the moment.
Are they?
With the encouragement of our now king.
So here we go, back in Cardiff. So, Ian, I mean, like, we're just asking Bill there about many of these things are matters that the sovereign does have to sign. I mean, if you're ever wondering what the monarch does, you sit here on a morning like this and you see
That was a big one.
We've done it this morning, actually. You see the full range.
That was like a cloud.
He's got a meeting with the new Prime Minister this afternoon. Presumably, he's taking calls from world leaders, I would imagine. I don't know. I'm guessing. There is a multifaceted ministry. But just to move away from this for a second, can we just talk about that meeting with Liz Truss? Because it's so intriguing. New Prime Minister, new King. As he's sort of flying down and we're witnessing all this, how is he thinking about that meeting, or is it not too much in his mind?
Well, I think there's a certain formality that he has to go through when he first meets her. I may be slightly wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that he does have to reappoint her as Prime Minister.
How much shots
because,
is that, Dad?
he's the new sovereign.
Gibraltar.
But I would imagine that what's going through his mind is...
What?
is
How
whether
much
he
more
wants to
shots is there?
continue that,
Well, I mean,
opportunities
Couple more.
that he is so well known for, of offering a moment of counsel every week to the Prime Minister.
It's probably going to take
completely
96
and utterly
minutes.
confidential, where the Prime Minister can offload her problems and the issues that are facing her, and that he can offer advice.
You don't have to
And
do
as
the
I
whole
said
thing.
earlier, he's not just picking this up from scratch. He has toured the world. He's known every United States
You know what I need?
going right back. I think he has.
I need
great
a stand
memory.
for that.
So he's got a lot of experience of meeting with world leaders, which he will, I'm sure, bring to bear when matters of international.
Do you know I'm actually doing this on your camera and making a video so then I can upload it to YouTube?
Alright, I thought you were going to
I'm sure he's
No.
reminded
Is
of
that the recording?
that safe space for that council.
Bill, can I ask you about something
What?
else? We had Kelly Holmes.
Have you got your finger on it?
Yeah.
Making a
Alright.
point about, as a military person swearing allegiance
Got
to
my
the
phone
Queen.
on it.
We were talking a little bit about the origins of regiments, and obviously the reason I mentioned this before, I think we need to understand the relationship between the military and monarchy. We need to go back and country
It's getting all
split,
blurry on
meeting,
there now.
restoration, swearing allegiance to the crown, not to Parliament. But that's emerged
There we
as a very, very important aspect of our constitution, it seems to me, that the military, and that's in your psyche, right, as a serving officer.
Absolutely. You are commissioned by the sovereign. If you're an officer in the armed forces, they are the armed forces of the crown. They therefore don't do political things. They are directed by the government, but they don't do their own conduct their own political views or anything like that. I think it's a very important part of our system, and ensures the loyalty of the armed forces to the crown, the very head of state.
It is part of the benefit of that politicians sometimes might take decisions that, serving officers are only human, serving soldiers might not actually like, but that it's irrelevant because you're serving the crown. Am I over interpreting that?
I think possibly, because of course the armed forces would recognise that it is the government that gives the instructions. So they are the forces. The government acts in the name of the crown also. So it's all coming from the same source. But the point is, the armed forces, have their allegiance to the top. At some point elsewhere.
And that's a meaningful thing, as a serving soldier.
Very much so, because it's also brought out by the close relationship between the sovereign as the commander-in-chief of all parts of the armed forces, but also many members of the royal family who have positions, honorary positions in particular bits.
And I guess that's the point of all this ceremony in a way. It's the manifestation of that. It's not, for any other purpose. It's a reflection of
I don't want to go back, Jim.
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say you could go to the 6 o'clock command.
And the close relationship, not the loyalty of one way, but the loyalty of both ways.
It's going to be like half an hour.
Don't we have to do it all?
How long?
Takes it.
We'll get
We're
great.
doing it all day. Can we go over it?
There's a very close relationship with them. And, certainly my time would know the king. During the course of the Afghan war,
Well, I'll do 15
he
minutes.
was constantly
And then I'll do part 2.
soldiers who were injured and come back.
And Reggie, at the gym as well, we also do kids classes if you want to go.
You already asked me this.
You're not gone to that?
Occasions where he's
Bit of kids fitness, of
bottle of
course.
whiskey to somebody who has come back having had some awful experience. And through that, getting